In the early 1980s, Ronald Reagan, the US president, wanted to know what was the best solution for being one up on the Soviets. And therefore he proposed the Strategic Defense Initiative, basically a whole bunch of satellites in orbit, basically shooting down any ICBMs that are heading towards America. Now, this sounded like a decent idea at the time, but the problem was it was widely criticised because it was too expensive, impossible considering the state of technology at the time, and still to this day could be considered impossible, and it was also exacerbating the Cold War as well. So it quietly got shoved in the early 90s, and Alan Steele, the programmer for Theatre Europe, basically a World War III simulator set in Europe, designed a game based on the Strategic Defense Initiative called High Frontier. And so the idea is that I'm going to show you the 3 different versions of High Frontier, which was one of the games that I played when I was a little kid. And I didn't understand it very much when I was a little kid of 7 years old, but obviously as time grew on, I started to appreciate it a bit better. So let's go have a play. This is the Spectrum version, which is, I'm going to say the simplest version, but it's the one most people probably would have had. Okay, so this is your starting screen. Let's go over the game itself. Obviously, there's the US President. You can choose for him to be a hawk, a realist, or a dove, basically meaning warmonger, realistic person, or peacemonger. You can set the same for the Soviet Premier. For now, let's just keep it at 2 realists. Game level. Easy, which is actually quite easy. It's to help you get used to the actual setup and the game itself. Normal is where the Soviets will deploy decoys and will develop ways of destroying your Strategic Defense Initiative, and hard makes it much more difficult because they'll be introducing red herrings as well. But for now, let's keep it to easy because I just want to show you what the game looked like. Orbit we'll just go into first of all, so let's go into orbit. This is manual control. If you're playing on easy, you won't need to bother with what goes on here. But basically what you have in your Strategic Defense Initiative, here's an example, you have 6 available. We have a laser. We have a railgun. What makes that so different? Well, you get a different HUD, and the bullets shoot out. We have a automatic laser mounted rocket system. The automatic system. Look, there's a warhead. Point your crosshairs over it. You don't even need to press fire, it will just do it automatically. We have the X-ray laser, which will destroy MIRVs. MIRVs are missiles which have multiple warheads, and mid-orbit they go they explode, and then they just shower all sorts of nuclear warheads over the target, which makes it much more difficult for you to track. But if you use an X-ray, basically you can just blast all those warheads, hundreds of them, if what the Soviets are launching happen to be a MIRV. This is a space plane, the most expensive of the lot, but actually contains the best stuff. And this is the ground seeking defense system. Now, in order to be an effective ground-based system, what with seconds remaining before the missile hits Earth, you can't control it yourself. Human control is too slow. So let's move on. Let's have a look at the laser. Right, so this is what manual control looks like. And look, there's a missile. Look, shooty, 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 shooty. Okay, so going over the screen, top left, I don't know what the one on the top left is exactly. The one on the middle left is missiles destroyed, warheads destroyed below that. On the right hand side is how much ammo you have, and then how many missiles are on the screen and how many warheads are on the screen. Missiles is in ICBMs, warheads is in warheads. Okay, so that's enough of the orbit screen. And we won't be using the orbit screen, well, we won't be using the manual control because you use that in normal or hard mode. So I just wanted to give you a general idea of what it looked like because we won't be using it. And stay tuned for the next video where we'll go over the actual gameplay. We'll actually play a game.